After the break, nostalgic for the days of the space race? Then stay tuned for the new album by the indie band Public Service Broadcasting with the launch of the National Space Centre news. Now this is how to make science cool. Mix electronic pop with samples from old news reports into a cross between a gig and a piece of performance art. The latest album by London indie duo Public Service Broadcasting charts the highs and lows of the Cold War space race, bringing it thrillingly to life. Our science editor Tom Clark was at the launch at the National Space Centre in Leicester.
This is Moscow. This is Moscow Core. On the 12th of April, the Soviet Union...
It was the height of the Cold War. Space was the new battleground.
The astronaut is a Soviet citizen, Major Gagarin Yuri Alexeyevich.
Legions of engineers, scientists and public relations experts lifted men like cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin and astronaut Neil Armstrong onto the front lines.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
The poster boys of the space race were supposed to inspire. But what would they have made of these two? Musical duo, Public Service Broadcasting. They're currently top of the independent charts with an album devoted entirely to the glory days of space. The band launched their record at the National Space Centre in Leicester. It's a giant leap from Houston, but good enough to sit down with Channel 4 News. Why the space race?
On a human level, the stories are just incredible, you know, to think what those people must have been going through on their various missions. My favourite would be, Gagarin, I think. He just seemed like such an appealing character. Mixed in with all this footage of him being sort of worshipped wherever he went was, you know, the kind of underlying sadness, I suppose, of knowing that he died, you know, not very long after that.
Retro, go. Fido, go. Guide.
Their songs are inspired by real events and assembled from them too. Original audio and film archive is as much sampled as curated into pop tunes. Maybe there's a clue in the corduroy.
We're always kind of wary not to kind of come across as too sort of teacherly, despite the fact that we kind of dress like geography teachers, I suppose. It's not a history lesson, you know. I suppose because neither of us can sing, you might find that hard to believe. You know, we have to look for other ways to kind of imbue our music with some kind of emotion.
They're far from the first artists to be inspired by space.
And the papers want to know.
Bowie took us there way back in 1969.
Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground.
A real astronaut did the same in 2013. Public Service Broadcasting say they're trying to use today's technology to find new meaning in the language and stories of bygone pioneers.
It's the things that kind of reach out and grab you and sort of speak to you, I suppose, and our job is to kind of take those and filter them through our music and then hopefully come out with something that's reinterpreted them and added to them, but also is kind of drawing attention to, you know, how exciting the event was in the first place.
It's pop so highbrow it's nearly in orbit, but the band insist their primary mission is to entertain.
There's a great deal of kind of tongue-in-cheekness about what we do in terms of the way we present ourselves. Obviously, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the things that I think we are trying to push back against slightly is just growing up and kind of, you know, talking to people about moon landings and stuff, people of my generation. There is this kind of prevailing cynicism that it was somehow faked or it didn't happen. I find that just incredibly, endlessly depressing. And I think if we are trying to make any kind of real statement with it, it's to kind of push back against that kind of cynicism and try and renew the spirit of optimism and euphoria that was around at those times.
Popcom documentary isn't everyone's cup of tea, but public service broadcasting will appeal to a post-Cold War generation looking for something it feels like we lost in space.
Can you hear that, Major Tom? Tom Clark reporting there.
Jon Snow on Pluto. That's it from us. Back tomorrow. Good evening.
That's Channel 4 News. Good evening.